Welcome to Storytime Central. Today's tale dives into the shadows of our mind and the literal darkness of an old house, because sometimes the real monster lives inside. Sit back, maybe grab a warm drink, and let's begin. My name is Mira, working in a neo-glass office building in downtown London, sneakers on my feet, a phone buzzing in my hand, and a small apartment I thought was mine. I'd decided to move into an old Victorian terrace in Hackney because it was quaint, affordable, full of character. The kind of place people Instagram with exposed brick and retro plumbing. The kind of place I told myself was perfect for a single young professional. From the first night I moved in, I felt the house breathing. Not in a spooky way, just a subtle rhythm. Like the floorboards expanded, walls sighed. The windows exhaled city air. I chalked it up to old buildings. I liked it. I unpacked boxes, placed my modern prints on the wall, wired up the smart lights, made it feel like mine. But then I found the diary. It was wedged behind the radiator cover in the second floor landing. I was reaching to dust the upper shelf. The cover came off, and there it was. Leather bound, worn but intact, no name inscribed. I flicked through it. The ink ran. Some dates from 1904 to 1906. Scribbles. In different hands. Some lines crossed out. Words like regret, fear, and sighed. I sat on the stairs and read. I hear it. It lives under the floorboards. My heart jumped. I closed it quickly. Told myself it was just someone's private grief. I left the diary on the landing and tried not to think about what it was. Days passed. My rhythm too. Wake, train, work, home, Netflix. But each night I felt watched. My smart lights glowed at odd times, though I hadn't programmed them. Shadows flickered at the edges of my vision. Though I lived alone, I told friends, just house-settling noises. Old place. They patted my shoulder, said good luck with the move. One Monday evening I came home late. The winter wind pattered against the window panes. I unlocked the door, stepped in, and my stomach dropped. The smart home app pinged. Living room. Light turned on at 1:02. I froze. I had not touched my phone. I checked the app. Motion detected, no camera installed. But motion sensor triggered. I felt the hairs on my arms stand upright. I swallowed and walked into the living room. The light was dim, the sofa neat, nothing obvious. I tried to rationalize, maybe the sensor glitch. But then I heard breathing. Slow down the hallway. I held my breath. I listened. Footsteps, maybe just the wooden floor sagging. But the breathing grew louder and came from behind the door to the spare room. I keep closed. I approached. Hello. My voice cracked. No answer. I pushed the door gently. It swung open, empty. The room was pitch black, curtains drawn. But I felt someone standing at the far corner. Just a presence. I flicked the smart light switch. Light flickered and then went out entirely. The corridor went dark. A single flash on the hallway. Motion at 1:07. My phone buzzing with motion detected. I sprinted down the stairs, out the front door, into the cold night. I didn't look back. I stood on the pavement, phone in hand, breathing hard. I opened the diary on my phone. Photo forgot I had taken a picture of it earlier. I flipped the entry. Under the floorboards it whispers. It knows your name. The chill in my veins went ice. I had heard whispering maybe. Late nights, half asleep. I thought I imagined it. But this was real. I decided I couldn't stay. The next day I moved into a hotel. Pack minimal. Laptop for remote work. Coffee in to-go. I texted friends. We'll be back when I sort place. They asked, what's wrong? I said, just old house things. They accepted it. But I couldn't stop thinking about the diary. Who wrote it? What is the it living underneath? I googled the building address. 42 Hackney Terrace, name changed. Found a mention in a local historic forum. Early 1900s house. Previous owner Mrs. Avery died in 1906. Son vanished. Folks speculated house haunted. But nothing serious. I dug up archival newspapers. Jack Avery missing after friend's death in house. Dated 1906. Friend's body found under floorboards of room 3. No culprit found. The house changed hands many times. I stared at these facts and shivered. The diary I found, dated precisely 1900-1906. I felt the timeline converge. I remembered reading, "It knows your name." I checked phone address book. My name was there. I had given it to everyone. The hairs on my neck prickled. Was the house claiming me, or the entity beneath? My rational mind resisted, but fear crept in. I decided to go back into the building during daylight to remove the rest of my things. I entered with flashlight and 2 large bags. The house felt heavy. The landing where I found the diary felt colder. I walked upstairs to room 3, the one linked to the archival article. Door shut discreetly. I opened it. The room had old wallpaper peeling, a cracked mirror, no furniture. I placed my bags. As I walked across the center, the floorboards creaked in unison. My light flickered. I shone it under the floorboards where a loose plank slightly raised itself. I crouched and pried the plank gently. Beneath, darkness. I could smell damp, rot, and something metallic. I shone the flashlight deeper, a faint scrap of cloth. I pulled it out. It was a piece of an old shirt button, still attached, brass, tarnished, engraved JA on it. My breath caught. Jack Avery. I reread names. My heartbeat thundered. Suddenly, I felt something stir beneath the floor. The plank jolted. I jumped back. My flashlight flickered, then died. I heard a voice, not quite human, the scratching of nails on wood, a deep whisper, "Mira." It said my name, my name. The voice came from under. I froze. My mind crashed into panic. I scrambled out of the room, tripped in the hallway. Bags scattered, I dashed downstairs, out into the daylight. I looked back at the terrace. The blinds in room 3 raised themselves slowly. I waited until the blinds dropped, and then I left. That evening, I didn't sleep. I stayed at the hotel, turned on all lights, audio tracks of rain to mask sound. But the phone vibrated at 2:12 with a notification. Motion detected at old house. My heart stopped. I had removed the sensor. I had canceled the smart home account. But maybe the former tenant had left remote access, or something else had control. I decided, enough. I canceled my lease, arranged movers. I informed the landlord, "I'm leaving for health and safety reasons." He nodded, said he'll refund deposit. I said I'll never go back. The diary I left behind on the landing, maybe to warn the next occupant, or maybe the house would keep it. I didn't care. On move-out day, I came back with movers, cleared my stuff. The house stood silent. I walked through living room, kitchen, then upstairs. On the second landing, I stopped. The diary lay exactly where I found it. I picked it up and took a photo. I felt again that rhythm, the house breathing slower now. I walked into room 3, stepped inside one last time. I looked under the floorboard, flashlight on. The loose plank was closed, the space empty, the piece of shirt gone. I felt a strange mixture of relief and dread. I picked up the plank, lifted it again. Nothing. Dark emptiness. I closed the plank gently. I turned to leave. At that exact moment, the smart light in the corner flickered on. I frowned. I didn't install anything here. Light shone on the center of the floor. The temperature dropped. I watched my breath. Then quietly, the blinds raised just slightly as if someone peered out, and the soft whisper, "Mine," came from the darkness under the boards. I didn't wait. I raced down the stairs, out the front door, slammed it shut, locked it. From the pavement, I looked up at the first floor window of room 3. The lights went out. The house quieted again. I took a deep breath, my body trembling. Weeks later, I'm settled in a new apartment. Glass high, modern, no history. But sometimes at night, when the wind whistles, I swear I can hear floorboards creak, or a whisper, just a breath. I tell myself it's my old mind, my old memory. But in my dreams I see the shirt button with JA, the house, breathing, the entity under the floor. I wake up cold. I change position. I look at the ceiling. I tell myself, it stayed there. I'm safe. But here's the thing. The real monster isn't the house. The real monster was the silence inside me, my fear, my denial. The part of me that moved into a house I didn't fully understand. The part of me that ignored the warnings. When I found the diary, I should have left immediately. But I didn't. Because I believed I was safe. Because modern city, job independence. I'm in control. Yet I wasn't. So if you ever move into a place with history, listen to those little things. The diary. The unexplained light. The weird chills. They aren't just they might be the house whispering, I know you, and by staying you might invite the monster inside to take residence. Thanks so much for joining Storytime Central. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment and share. Let others know about the house under the boards. Drop your thoughts below. Have you ever heard a whisper when you shouldn't have? Until next time, good night, and keep your floorboards locked tight.